Well, I got into communications because I started out as a creative writing major and realized after my first semester there wasn't a lot of money probably in creative writing, and my mom actually knew someone who was a public relations specialist for the Baltimore Orioles, and I thought, wow, that would be really cool to do something related to public relations and sports. So I switched over to communication. Favorite thing about Elizabethtown, how personable it is and how close everybody is. Faculty works well together, and I think students are very caring about professors, and professors are very caring about students. And so it's just really fun to go in and teach every day and have students tell you, things that are going on in their lives and just share those kinds of things with students. And so I think that's just what makes E-Town really special.
I grew up in a family of accountants, business people, but I didn't want to go into business because everyone else was in business. Business has always been in my blood, and what I do is business communication. I was determined to figure out a way to use my love of language to help solve business problems. I started my career in government communications, doing lobbying for nonprofit organizations. I worked in healthcare. I worked for some other competing institutions around here as their director of communications. As the years passed, I flipped my career around. I flipped from being a professional communications officer for different organizations to being a full-time teacher and consulting for organizations then as my part-time career. I think the funny stories are probably the things that stand out in my mind, the way that we are a family here, the way that the students become a family and they take care of each other and they help one another through their studies and their projects. Every day is a treasure here, and that's the truth. I enjoy my job. If I didn't enjoy my job, I wouldn't have been here this long.
When I went to college, I was actually a pharmacy major when I started and decided that chemistry was not the thing for me. So I decided to start working for the campus radio station, and that is what really pulled me into communications. I worked at WGAL-TV in Lancaster as a producer for several years, and prior to that I had worked at an ABC affiliate in Des Moines, and I got to a point where I decided I was ready to make that transition into being a professor. So went back to school, got my master's degree, got my PhD, and then made the transition here. Because like I say, I knew it was something that I wanted to do, and even when I was working professionally, I was always thinking, oh, I want to save this, or I want to keep this in my file, because when I teach someday, I want to be able to use my professional experience in the classroom. My favorite thing about Elizabethtown is the close-knit community, and even when I came here to interview, I just remember everybody was so nice, and I thought, could this be real? Are people really this happy all the time here? And you know what, they are. I've been here for over 10 years, and people are just friendly and they're accommodating, and it really does feel like a family. And in the department itself, it's that same kind of family atmosphere. I love the students we have here. I just feel so incredibly blessed every day to be able to come to work and to have a job that I truly, truly love.
I went to college to be a sports writer, and I thought I wanted to write about sports for the rest of my life, and this was before the internet, if you can believe that, and so I thought I was going to write for newspapers, and I did that in college for 3 years, and by the third year I hated it. But I liked my communications classes, my communications classmates. I continued to write for the paper my senior year in a different capacity, and when I graduated with a communications degree, I realized I had other options other than going to write for a newspaper and do sports, and I took a job with an internet company doing corporate communications, using my writing skills and the other things I learned in the comm department, but not my sports writing skills, and did that for about 5 years before I decided to go back to law school. I really like that Elizabethtown has small classes, and it gives you the opportunity to work with students closely at the undergraduate level. A lot of colleges, the expectation is professors will work with grad students and undergrads just kind of do their own thing. And at Elizabethtown, the undergrads are the focus the whole time. in every department, and so we have a chance to really get to know them. I like that it's communal in that I get to teach students outside of my discipline in core classes or by teaching for other departments, and so I get to know a wide variety of students in different areas that have different ambitions and kind of talk to them about how my experience can relate to them regardless of what they want to do. I like that the students will seek you out and ask your advice and talk to you about things outside of the classroom and outside of a homework assignment, and allow you to kind of get to know them and their challenges beyond just the typical classroom relationship.
I've been studying communications my whole career. I studied mass comm as an undergrad myself, and then continued working in that field, and then went back for the terminal degree in order to be able to teach. So I've been in the communications vein ever since I was 18, 19 years old, and I've stayed there. My favorite thing about Elizabethtown is the size of the campus, the fact that one easily gets to recognize both faculty and students. You get to know the area quite well, and there's a lot to offer. Between Harrisburg being just down the road as well as Lancaster, there's plenty of opportunities to get out for culture, for theater, music, but also for media outlets, for the TV station, radio station. So I appreciate that those opportunities are nearby for the students as well as the faculty. My teaching style is very much an experimental method where the students are in a computer lab. We are based in a computer lab, and so that way the students have a chance to get hands-on with the applications or with the technology in our photography class. And I think that lecture works well to an extent, but then the chance for students to go in and to try some of these techniques, to go out in the field, to acquire images, to bring them back, to edit them, whether that's video or audio, I think that that works well. And so that's the kind of classroom that I like to run, where we have a chance to go out and capture some media, bring it back, and then work with it together, and then go through the assessment process as well.
I first got into communications in high school. I was one of the nerds that was on the media team, the video team. I ran around with a video camera, shooting all the sports. Got my own camcorder when I was about 14 or 15, started making little movies with my friends. Got into audio production and graphic design much the same way. When I first started at Elizabethtown, one of the big selling points for me as an academic was that there was a college radio station. And so when I got here and I found a station that was underutilized, I possibly naively asked if I could have it. I made a promise to myself, and I made a promise to others, that in 5 years I would fully staff the radio station. About 3 years later, I fully staffed the radio station. If I can point to a best memory, it'd probably be a recurring memory, and it's sort of the beginning of every semester, every school year. I think it's a really exciting thing to see new students coming in, but also to see how returning students have sort of grown over time, and by the time they're seniors, like really just kind of a personal pride you feel when they get their first internship, or they get their first job, or they come back 2 or 3 years after they've graduated and they're doing well. I think that's a really exciting thing.
I've been working here at E-Town College for almost 10 years now. I came here for an interview, and walking around the campus and touring the different facilities, it just really drew me to this area. All of the department day-to-day things going, I work with registration and scheduling, purchasing equipment for our facilities. I supervise our student employees, finding out that they've got a great job or what they're planning on doing after graduation, and keeping in touch with them after they leave. It's just been a very rewarding part of my job. Pretty much anything that you need help with, you can come to me and I'll direct you in the right direction.
I think the unique thing with radio and television is not only do we have facilities that are part of the classroom. Chemistry has labs. Well, our labs are our studios and our production equipment and things like that, that you can learn in class how things work and how everybody works together and what the different jobs are and the language. And then we can also take that out in the field and give you an experience that we can't duplicate in the studio. I think that TV production and this kind of stuff has always been in my to-do and want. And now that I'm on the other side of it, that I get to help you guys get through and learn and run with it, I think that's even better. My family and I enjoy working with animals. So for 10 years we raised service dogs, and they were dogs that lived with us, and we would train them, and then they would leave us and go and hopefully change someone else's life. Very hard to do, to let them go, very rewarding to see the difference they make. Most recently we've moved into therapy dogs, which means we get to keep the dog and we get to see the work he does, you know, on a weekly basis and things like that. So I think it's very rewarding if you can make somebody's day or change their day, or going to school and for 10 minutes they're not thinking about exams or grades or whatever. I think that's very rewarding.